Good. Let's get this rolling. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to debate? Let's get into it. Here's the bottom line. We are going to ask the very difficult question, as America's most viewed and subscribed to and clicked on disability attorney, right? If you want disability representation, go ahead and, just call the law firm from 9 to 5. Same phone number that you're going to call tonight to do this debate. It is 407-279-1754. All right, it's in the chat now. The question is, should people with dementia be allowed to own firearms? Now, here's the deal. The SSA, and we're going through all of the different listing level criteria for a mental impairment actual approval. Under 12.02 of the neurocognitive disorders, which dementia is, okay, they look at essentially whether or not the person has difficulty with complex attention, executive function, learning and memory, language, perceptual motor, or social cognition, limitations. And what they're looking for there is medical documentation of a significant cognitive decline from a prior level of functioning in one or more of the cognitive areas. Okay. And then you have the B criteria. Extreme limitation of one or marked limitation of two of the following areas of mental functioning: understanding, remembering, or applying information, interacting with others, concentrating, persisting, or maintaining pace, and adapting or managing oneself. Now, why did I pick this one? Because we're going to be going through 12.01 all the way down, although technically 12.01 is a category. 12.02 and down is essentially where they start listing the impairments. Now, dementia. How do we define it? From the alz.org website, let's go ahead and read about what it is. Dementia is not a single disease. It is an overall term to describe a collection of symptoms that one may experience if they are living with a variety of diseases, including Alzheimer's disease. Diseases grouped under the general term dementia are caused by abnormal brain changes. Dementia symptoms trigger a decline in thinking skills, also known as cognitive abilities, severe enough to impair daily life and independent function. They also affect behavior, feelings, and relationships. Okay, so, although to be fair, Alzheimer's is like the main one that usually links dementia. All right, so what do we know? There are symptoms. What are the symptoms? Short-term memory, keeping track of purse or wallet, paying bills, planning or preparing meals, remembering appointments, traveling out of the neighborhood, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, it's coming. No, it's not. Yes, no. Okay. So here's the deal. All right. Should somebody with dementia potentially own firearms? I'm going to take the first caller and we will begin this process. I mean, somebody just called me like 1,000 times. Let's just call them, see what's going on. Hold on. Here we go. Speaker is on. Let's see if we can get them on the phone. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this person. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember, he's a fake name throughout this process. We are on the debate. Should people with dementia be able to own firearms? Go ahead.
Walter, I just wanted to give you money.
Oh, okay. So call me, I guess tomorrow. Well, no worries either way. I mean, it's, but right now we're doing, well, let me ask you this. What's your opinion on people with dementia?
My opinion is never give me a weapon.
Very good. Very good. Why is that?
Because I'm crazy.
Okay. But what kind of crazy? Like, give me some detail here.
I just got out of a rubber room the other day.
So,
and, they want to put me back soon, and I want to make sure that you get your money because you have helped me through some really hard times.
Well, no, don't worry about me. I mean, worry about you. I mean, if you were,
Oh, no, I'm not worried about me, because they gave me this apartment that is affordable.
Oh, good. You got housing now. Yeah.
Anyway, I got this really great apartment. for like $300 a month in California. Can you imagine?
What? Wait, what town or general area of California are we talking about?
The one that took my husband.
Oh, wow. Okay. The recent giant fire area?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, the town that I live in, it burns like every 20, 25 years. Anyway.
Okay.
Whoop-de-woo. And it took my husband, it took my dog.
Oh.
Anyway, shit happens, but we lived through it. We pushed through it.
That's tough.
And,
that's so tough.
Yeah, but anyway, when I got here, 3 days after I got here, the overhead sprinkler broke and flooded my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I have a great brother.
Sure.
Yeah, and he works for Trump.
Sure.
So I'm on the fence about everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is he looks out for his own.
Yeah.
But can I give you some money?
No, you don't have to give me any money. No worries there. Like, you're literally, you're trying to get your housing straightened out. You just got your setup. You just got flooded.
No, I've been with you forever.
Oh, well,
Walter,
I mean,
I've been with you for like 14, 15 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but don't worry about right now. Right now, what we're doing is we're talking about dementia and like whether or not those, because they have memory issues. They can't remember what's going on. Bruce Willis has this, and
Oh, that's me. I can't remember yesterday. Shoot. Shoot.
Yeah. So, do you feel like people with dementia should have their guns taken at some point, or what do you think?
No. Hell no. I can't remember yesterday, and if I had a weapon, I'd hurt somebody and not remember it tomorrow.
So, I mean, so what would you say would be the proper cutoff for somebody with dementia? Like, what would be when they shouldn't, like, if they own guns and they got it, when would be the acceptable cutoff? Tomorrow. You're a very direct and honest person. I gotta hand it to you. I do like it. I do like it a lot. It's good.
Where's your music?
I didn't even get to bring a guitar up to New Jersey. So on my travels to Maine, I don't have anything. I got nothing. But I was able to bring an amp. I brought a Kalamazoo R12. It's like a little old reverb amp, but I'm probably gonna try and buy a guitar while I'm up there, or while so
I had 2 children.
Yeah.
I had 2 children and they died in a car crash.
Jeez.
Yeah, and well, that was way back in the day, but anyway, he was on his way to a gig.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. Well, that's why I stopped doing, to be fair, that's why I stopped doing the live events with the homeless, because like I get so many angry people, and the weirdest thing is, like, whenever they're angry at me, they're not actually stating things that I said. And it's just weird because, like, they'll say I said something and I'm just like, I've never said that in my, because what phrasing you use, like how you speak, what
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're coming out with sentences like I wouldn't even say, and so
Those are bots. Those are just bots.
Yeah, but I'm getting letters from people, like handwritten, like scratchy, shitty handwriting all the way. I'm getting like real problems. You know what I mean? So like, and I look at the whole Charlie Kirk thing and I think to myself, the only reason that even happened was because the father was a Republican who taught his kid how to use a firearm. And then his kid went Democrat far left.
Everybody needs to be taught what to do with a firearm, but at this point in my life, and I'm old, I'm really, really, really old.
Sure.
But I have no business with a weapon. I keep hatchet at my front door.
Sure.
That's good enough.
Yeah. I mean, that is a lot of people don't realize how dangerous and how aggressive a hatchet can be. If you put that into somebody, you'd be surprised what it actually cuts through. It is quite shocking. Yeah.
But then again, they don't really realize that one day we're all going to be in that place where we have to cut our own wood.
Yeah. True. One day we all get to that point. It is what it is. But yeah. All right. Well, I will catch you later. But you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
Would you do one thing for me?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Yeah.
Be well.
Yeah, I will. I'm taking Saturday and Sunday off for the most part. That's going to be my one vacation thingy for the year.
Have kosher's. He's like your moderator.
Yeah.
Give me a call so I can give him a new number and get you paid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I have to find kosher's phone number because I usually talk to him through email. I don't think he's on the chat right now, but if you just give me a call tomorrow or Monday or whatever, no worries. But I mean, again, you don't have to do any payment. No worries on that. No worries at all.
But and Diana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love her.
She's awesome. She's amazing. She's been with us for a really, really long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there almost as long as she has.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, she goes way back. Way back. Way back,
Like me.
Indeed.
Me.
Yeah.
And
but
I listen, but I don't always respond.
Sure.
Be well.
You as well. Yeah. Well, no worries. Yeah, I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night,
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. That warmed my heart. That just made me feel good. Very good. So I think the big thing, I guess I missed a caller here. Did I miss a caller? Hold on, let me see. Maybe not. Hold on. Maybe I did. I think the big thing with this, no, we're okay, is that I think everybody would agree that when it comes to people with dementia-based symptoms, we would agree that they wouldn't even know what they did or the remembering of the act. So at what point do you start taking away the firearms? What point do you make the firearms be restricted, locked away in something where if they couldn't remember the passcode, they couldn't get in? Where is the line on this thing? So give me a call. We'll talk about it. And I will go ahead and take the opposite opinion of whatever you have. And I'll debate you. And we'll have a good time. Or we'll just go to the next video where I answer questions for free. Totally up to you. But let's see what we got here. Okay, so let's see what we got. Nobody's calling in. Nobody's brave enough to debate. Let's see. Anybody at all? All right, we're gonna do the countdown. Oh, we got a caller. Here we go. All right, walk me through. Do you feel that people with dementia should be allowed to own firearms? Go ahead.
I forgot to shut you off. I got less of an argument, more of a real life hands-on experience with this.
Okay.
I had a great aunt, Rosie, and she had her husband had been a pilot in World War II.
Okay.
And he had passed away, and he had left, when he passed away, he left his pistol in the house. Of course, he didn't take it with him, but he had firearms in the house. Great Aunt Rosie, she'd hear airplanes going overhead. She'd go outside with a firearm, and she'd start screaming, usually cuss words. I won't say the cuss words, but she'd cuss and say, "You bleeping Japs," derogatory for Japanese.
Sure.
Start shooting in the air. Fortunately, she never hit the airplane. But as you can imagine, 2-3 times of this, the police finally did come and They didn't take her to jail. She was already like 85, 90 years old. But
Yeah.
of course, they weren't going to arrest her. But she was one of those little bitty tough ladies with all the energy. She was still kind of taking care of herself despite her mental illness.
Sure.
Maybe none of the type before they never quit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, so yeah, I think they figured 2 or 3 planes. She was going to get lucky eventually and hit one. So
Yeah.
They take a plane, take the firearms from her.
Do you feel that there was a moment where you would have known that she should not have had the firearms?
I'm not sure. I was a little kid. Like I said, she was my great aunt. I was probably still in my early teens when she passed away herself. So I remember meeting her, and I remember she had a bad dip problem, and she kind of spit all around her house, and the whole house smelled like chewing tobacco.
Sure.
She was having trouble taking care of herself at that point. But my mom's got dementia, and I've had a few other family members with Alzheimer's. I guess it runs on both sides of my family. They start off, it's a gradual disease in my experience, but yeah, there comes a point, I don't know where the line is. There does come a point where I feel like you kind of got to. It's just they can have a few good years though before.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say. At some point they start acting up, and it's hard for me to get ahead of it and say, "Oh well, you're about to start acting up too bad, so we got to do this." I don't know when that. I don't have a strong opinion on when that line is.
What was something you noticed that was a clear indicator that there might be a problem where they wouldn't be able to pay their own bills?
My mom, she had a job teaching public school, high school. She started kind of, I don't want to, lack of a better word, she kind of started, her mental, the symptoms started affecting her ability at work, and that would have been she still had a couple of years where she was paying her own bills after that, but it was affecting her job, and the school eventually let her go because of her behavior at school. And I guess with her, that's probably about the time when I would have cut it with her. She wound up moving to Texas after that, and she got a job substituting, and that lasted for 2 or 3 years. But yeah, eventually they let her go. They let her go too, and then my brother took over and became her power of attorney or whatever. And that could be it. When my mom, I think it would have been waiting too long before my brother became power. I think that happened a little bit late. I probably would have taken it away from her before that. But that might be one line when you're no longer able to be in custody of yourself. Might be one line, but again, I think that would have been too early in my mom's case.
Would you have been brave enough to report her in that moment, in that situation?
I would have gone and gotten it myself. I would have. If I had to call the cops or something after that, I would have. But I probably would have handled it in the house before getting the quote-unquote proper authorities involved. But that's just the specific politics of my family. I know my mom well enough to, make a judgment call on that. She's kind of left-leaning herself anyway, so she'd probably never have I don't think she likes guns too much. So it's kind of a meat point anyways, but.
So hit me with the closing argument. What are your thoughts on it?
I think everyone should have 200 guns, and at least 10 of those should be AR-15s.
A man after my own heart. Yeah, all right, that's good. Look, I would rather see a armed militia But you know how it is. Like everybody's whining about an AR-15, and I always point to, have you seen the new jet that the government has? You know what I mean? Like, have you seen the new helicopter the government has? Like an AR-15 ain't gonna do nothing to that, you know?
I
So
got a couple of points with that.
okay,
In
yeah,
Revolutionary days, muskets were weapons of war.
Yeah.
And people are still allowed to own cannons. Back then, people could own warships back during the Revolutionary days.
Yeah.
Also, Vietnam.
Yeah.
The Vietnamese were a bunch of redneck, hillbilly, Asian people living in the woods, and they still managed to not to do too bad against us with all of our 1970s technology.
True.
We had.
Very true. I mean, their booby traps were much better. But yeah. Well,
you could say the same about Afghanistan. Almost a
similar situation. Yeah, very true. I didn't think of it that way, but that's true, actually. It's a good point. Yeah. That's actually a really good point. I'd never brought Vietnam and Afghanistan together in my mind as the same thing, but you're right. That is a very good point. You have two fundamentally less armed, less well-armed, less educated, less organized groups. But look at the chaos that was caused from that, you know? Absolute total chaos. Excellent.
Never mind, I could go in an hour. There's a man in the Civil War named Bloody Bill Anderson. He is one of the more famous guerrilla war people. He he was a highly motivated individual who took care of a lot of people on his own. Above it, never mind. I think how was the movie Full Metal Jacket put it? Anyway, never mind. A little bit of motivation goes a long way sometimes.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. Well, good sir, I will catch you later. You have a wonderful night, and we'll rock and roll from there, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to do the next call real quick. Let's see if we can get them on the phone. Hold on. Let's see what we got real quick. Let's see what's happening. Here we go. All right, so... Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. What is your opinion for the debate of whether or not an individual who has dementia should be able to own firearms?
Yes.
Oh, I know who this is. Howdy. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
But I would say, because I have someone with PTSD,
sure,
it doesn't give the right of dementia that will be probably secondary to the PTSD in years to come. I don't believe that they should take guns away from me. I got to protect the whole house.
Exactly. I'm so glad you brought that up. My point is exactly that's what nobody brought up is, if you take them from the husband or you take them from the wife because they've got the mental impairment, then you're taking them from the whole household. And so there has to be a plan in place to make sure the household can retain ownership, because otherwise it's an unfair legal taking.
Right. I totally agree with you, and you're the best attorney in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my thing is this. I like to see households that have the capacity to generation to generation teach their kids about firearms. And, obviously a horrible thing can happen, like with Charlie Kirk, where the son goes way super left, and then using the knowledge of the right does something absolutely horrible and it wasn't expected. Nobody expected that. People say now, oh, it could have, should have, would, he had to wear a bullet point vest. Nobody expected it to actually happen. That's why it was such a massive, massive shock. And with that, I say this: nobody expected the left to constantly try to defend people who said horrible things to the level they are, instead of worrying about what was basically a public execution. And I think what's interesting about it is that, like, at the end of the day, I am shocked. Like, as me as a YouTuber, right? If somebody got me, I feel like the people on the left would just be okay with saying horrific things. And, it doesn't matter how many people I've helped. It doesn't matter how many people I've worked with. It doesn't matter how many people I've helped in some little fashion or what. It doesn't matter. They would still drag me through the mud because it's just like a party of, I don't know, just so filled with hate at this point. I don't understand it,
Right. And that's the last right that we have, because they've taken so much away from us, and we're bouncing back from COVID still 5 years.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Yeah.
They want to go back to the same old. And it's really ridiculous. If we have to depend and we got to go on and take this away from that person and this away from that person, but yet we all have to line up and do what they say, it's not going to turn out to be the democracy that they're so-called calling America to be.
I've been thinking about what America is supposed to be, and I go to this. When I think about it, I think about, okay, America is a very wealthy nation, but its people are not. America is a very safe nation, but its people are not. And, if I use that knowledge base that comes from the academia, if this is this, then what should this be? Choose A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever on the chart. I constantly come back to the realization that America gives a lot to other nations. It gives them safety, it gives them presence, it gives them military weaponry, it even gives them pensions.
Yep.
We don't have any of that inside this border known as the greatest country on earth. And it's just weird because people died to make it what it was supposed to be. And then the politicians, I don't know. What do you do to these politicians? I'm starting to think criminal charges would not be a bad, the Riot Act should be read,
Yep. The politicians, start with them, get them out of office. I don't care if they censor whoever, but look at the D.C. judges. 5 of them have dual citizenship, never worked even as a law clerk.
Wow.
And we got them in robes in D.C. for a lifetime appointment.
Wow. I didn't know that. I've seen a lot of funky decisions, and as a result of that, I've very strongly I've lost a lot of my belief in the judiciary. And that's not a good sign, because that's the backbone. The attorneys are the ones who are in the practice of law, and the goalie, right, is essentially the judge. They're the ones that are supposed to be neutral, trying to catch things that aren't supposed to go through the net, and basically move a little if something's supposed to go into the net. And so from my perspective, I feel very frustrated that I think a lot of attorneys in my era, and certainly a lot of older attorneys, have lost faith in the judiciary to be more independent. And when people say, well, DEI should be in the judiciary, look, DEI doesn't belong in a lot of stuff. Flying planes doesn't belong there. But above all, judges absolutely have to be the best of the best. And every race has the best of the best in it. Every race does.
And
you know.
And you don't have to go to school anymore to even become one. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen, but on paper for 4 months, because Biden put the last one in on the D.C. court up there. I think it was right after the election last year.
I'll have to check it. Yeah, I'll have to look at it, because honestly, the more I've been learning about it, I've just been absolutely shocked. And what I'm starting to see is, like, they don't really care what the law is. And so it's just about political power. And